Well, Veronica Scott, man, empowermentplan.org. Man, when I first read about you, I told you earlier, I was so jealous. I've interviewed so many people, and I think, seriously, I've never met somebody who's doing something so cool, but also so important. I mean, you found work for the rest of your life, something you could pour your heart into no matter what happens, because you don't have to worry, because you have to know that what you're doing is so important. And you're only 2 years out of college, have no background in anything you're doing. That's another thing that pisses me off about you. You're doing this without any experience or contacts or anything, just something you want to do. So what's the basic principle? What are you doing here?
What we're doing here, and thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure. What we're doing here in Detroit is really about kind of showcasing that the homeless population that everybody kind of marginalizes and casts aside as worthless, or really a lot of the time less than human, is really, really there, really present. They do have drive, they do have ambition, they do want to be able to take care of themselves. And that is the main message with the Empowerment Plan, is that everybody has pride and everyone wants to really be able to care for oneself. And so what we do is we actually hire homeless parents out of shelters, and we train them in sewing, as well as some newer things now in like 3D modeling and coding.
Oh, wow. Huh.
But we produce a sleeping bag coat. So it's a coat by day, sleeping bag by night, and over-the-shoulder bag in the off-season. And we distribute those nationally right now, and we have some international demand. So it's a very exciting time.
Well, I mean, but it's now you were a design student in design college, and it sounded like you came from a troubled home and got a scholarship to go to this school, correct? So you really didn't have a background in money or finance or entrepreneuring or anything. Just get your ass through life is really
Yep, exactly.
the main thing. And you get out of college and you're using your design school techniques to build this jacket that doubles as a sleeping bag for people who are homeless. Yep. Because people could be homeless for years and years and years. Yes. Sometimes, as your literature says, up to 20 years. I mean, I see the same people on the street. It seems like forever.
Exactly. No, it was a class project in college, actually.
Wow.
The coat was designed in a class project. And it's really interesting because it was a very hard decision to actually say, I'm going to do this. When I graduated from college, it was a class project. And like you said, I didn't have any finance background, any business experience. And it was funny because in my mind, all I thought I needed was like, I had a nickname on the streets in Detroit as the crazy coat lady.
Ah, I see.
Or the coat lady. People were coming up to me asking when they were going to get coats.
Because you were going around
designing
doing your market research.
Yes. I was actually, it was designed with the community on the streets.
Yeah.
And so when I graduated, it was a very difficult decision to tell my family, friends, everybody, and including myself, I'm not going to look for another job. I'm not going to apply to work elsewhere. My grandparents, I think, took that the hardest. They're like, well, what if you get offered a job that pays you money? I'm like, I am going to have to send a sad resignation, sad note saying no. But it was about saying to myself, it's like, okay, I realized at that point no one else was going to take it on.
Yeah.
No one else was going to take on my crazy coat thing that people were just beginning to understand. No one would understand why I was doing it. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I'm the only person that will do this. No one else is going to take it on. And two, we have so much momentum. There is no coming back later. I won't come back later to do this. And you know what? It seems like everybody likes the idea, and all we need now is money. And,
and how can we give you money? How can we work it out? How can we do it?
And as an art student, it was a really funny thought because I knew nothing about money and finance. I was like, to me, that was the next business step. I knew nothing. And so it was really about taking that risk and saying, worst case scenario, at that time, I was living with my grandparents in their basement, basically, like in their house. And I had no money, no nothing. It's like worst case scenario, I am still exactly where I am now.
Yeah, you get another job that you're going to hate.
Yeah, and I will have a college degree.
Right.
I will be in a lot better position. I
Yeah.
will not be in debt.
Yeah.
This is far better position than most.
Yeah.
So worst case scenario isn't that bad. So why not go for it?
But more
And I'm so
importantly, I
glad.
think you have now something to devote more energy, creativity, and everything inside your soul,
Yeah, yeah.
everything, every day of your life, instead
Yeah.
of waiting for Friday at 5 to
You know,
happen.
I think it's so funny. One, because my friends and all of my age
Right.
group are constantly saying you have the dream job.
Absolutely.
And I completely agree. And actually, 2 days ago, I was in New York and I actually got to hear Gloria Steinem talk about
Oh, you
something.
did? Wonderful.
We both received an award from
Oh,
Diane
you were
von
on the
Furstenberg.
dais
Yeah,
with Gloria Steinem. See, that's
yeah,
someone my age, right?
yeah.
And she's a pretty good-looking 80-year-old, isn't
She
she?
looks amazing.
You know why, though? I think because she's doing something she loves to do every day.
And that's exactly what she said, though. That was the best part, was because people are saying to me, they're like, oh, you're sacrificing so much. This is so hard. And her response to that, because she obviously hears it a lot too,
Yeah.
people are like, oh, you should retire. Be done with doing this good stuff. Now it's time for you.
Yeah.
And she said, point blank to them, she's like, one, this is more fun for me than anything else in the world, and I'm not sacrificing a fucking thing. And at this point, I was going, that's exactly how I feel. This is
Absolutely.
not some
Absolutely.
weird, martyr
No.
situation where I'm just,
No.
I must sacrifice everything in my life. This brings so much more to me,
Absolutely.
and does so much more for what creatively
Right.
too. This is not just
Well,
something that I go in and check out,
right.
at 5.
Because
So I
nobody's
think
screwing
all
with
of
you.
it, all around, is just fun. And that hearing her swear was my favorite the whole evening. And she's like, that word wasn't there written down in my speech, but wanted to tell you because
As soon as
so
we get off,
true.
I'm going to tell my wife about that because
Yeah,
she's
it's so
she's
true. And
an idol
it,
of hers.
growing up the way I did in situation of poverty and financial stress
Yeah.
and financial strain with my parents that are still to this day unemployed, it is difficult to go back into the
Yeah.
field. And initially, I thought of it as like, is this a sacrifice? Am I doing something that's going to be tough for me? And it never has been.
No,
It never will be.
It took me 2 failing businesses or whatever. And I always felt the same thing. I mean, if you find something you love to do, you'll give more, and giving is the most important thing in life. It makes you feel the best. And everybody wants to play basketball against a 5-year-old. I mean, that's easy. Everybody wants an easy life, which is stupid.
Everybody play basketball against a 5-year-old. Everybody says they want that easy life, and very few
Yeah.
people actually realize once they're in it, and they've been in it too long,
Yeah, it's boring as shit.
and they can't seem to get out of it because they're too
Right.
comfortable.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
now
think-
let's help you, okay? Because all it takes is $100 to get a homeless person a coat, and to give a homeless person a job.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it needs, and that's what your group, empowermentplan.org is all about. And I think no matter if people thinking about giving or not, but is to look at that product you made,
Yeah.
because that is so important. On your website, to see how you designed, just what looks like a normal coat that folds into a sleeping bag. I mean, like everybody in crowdfunding on Kickstarter, you're smarter than all those eggheads from Silicon Valley, who are making things that, make my phone wash my dishes or something
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that.
That would be perfect. I don't know. I like that idea. It doesn't take much to give
Yeah.
back, see the effect of what you're doing. We were funded for the first year from people donating $5, $10 on PayPal.
Wow. No kidding.
Yeah, so we were. I didn't ask a single person for a donation, and now it's at that
Wow.
point where we have to. But everything really
Okay,
counts,
so it's
and
just
that
word of
$100
mouth,
goes
everything,
to
yeah. I
the
mean,
coat as well as the people making it.
Making it, because you see, you have a staff of 25 now, and most of these people are people who are homeless, women that you taught a trade, a skill, and gave them a home and everything. So it's not
Yeah.
only giving homeless people jackets, you already have, 20 some people that you are giving new life, and
I
there's
think
nothing, government's not doing that. You are.
I'm giving them, the best way I can say it is I'm giving the tools to
Yeah.
do that
Oh,
because
that's
they're
it.
the ones that
Absolutely.
find the new home. They're the ones,
Yeah.
every single person we hire, no one knows how to sew when we hire them. They can
Yeah.
make a coat in an hour and a half, 3 months
Wow.
later. And in the same 3 months, they're usually 3 to 6 months they're in housing. They found an
Wow.
apartment
Yeah.
or home and they were coming from the shelter and in
Yeah.
their new home within 3 to 6 months. Every single person we've ever hired. And yes, that's us and working with them, but that's also the people
Oh,
that we
absolutely.
find.
But you're sparking that, to
Yeah,
help, and that's why we need each other in life. I mean, we all have capabilities, but sometimes we need help to get us
exactly.
going in the right way. And
Exactly.
nothing is more important for you to do in life, Veronica. And I just thank you for doing this. I'm gonna cry, so I'm gonna get off of this.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Let
so
me get
much. That means
on.
a
So
lot.
I got to get people to go to empowermentplan.org.
Okay. All right. Send
Yeah,
them our way.
we
Thank you
need
so
more of
much.
you, Veronica. Thank you.